You are making the world a better place by listening to the Joy of Living podcast. This is your guide to achieving a more purposeful, powerful, and positive life. Join Barry Shore in unlocking the best version of you and becoming happier, healthier, and wealthier. And now, here's your ambassador of joy, Barry Shore.
Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved, immortal beings, and good-looking people. Be good-looking because you're always looking for and finding the good. Now, how can I make the categorical statement that all the hundreds of thousands, you realize it's 348,613 people right around the world, all around the world, who have tuned into the Joy of Living podcast. How can I make the categorical statement that every single one of you is good-looking? Because the definition of a good-looking person is someone who's always looking for and finding the good in life. That's who you are. That's why you consciously and conscientiously tuned into the Joy of Living podcast with your humble host, Barry Shore, because you know that on this show, we discuss the three fundamentals of life, and these three fundamentals are going to enable you to be happier, healthier, and wealthier. Who doesn't want that? And you tuned in for one reason and one reason only. It's the best reason in the whole world, by the way, because you care the most in the entire world about you. Y-O-U. And that's great, because when you become the best you make the world a better place. You build more bridges of harmony, create more joy, happiness, peace, and love in the world. Now, the three fundamentals of life, of course, are number one, your life has purpose. And when you lead a purpose-driven life, number two happens. Now, in this case, a good number two. You go mad. MAD is a wonderful acronym that stands for make a difference. You lead a purpose-driven life, you make a difference in the world. And the third fundamental is to uncover the power and the secrets of everyday words and terms. Simple example. Right now, our show is carried throughout the world. Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people listening. We're so deeply humbled and honored that you do that. And you're always bringing more people. God willing, the next few months will break on 400,000 because you're always inviting your family and friends. We just urge you, share this with 5 people. That's it, just 5 people. So we can touch over 1.5 million people around the world. And the beauty of that is, you ask anybody, what does www stand for? Invariably, it has to do with the internet. Now, factually speaking, they're correct. However, in our world, the world of the positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant, www stands for what a wonderful world. And what is a word, right? W-H-A-T-A. What a wonderful world. Now, a big thank you to Louis Armstrong Satchmo for enabling that song, What a Wonderful World, to go viral and not just touch tens of millions or hundreds of millions, but billions of people around the planet. Whenever you hear the opening bars of What a Wonderful World, what do you do right away? You can't help it. You smile. Now, SMILE is one of the most important acronyms you could internalize, utilize, and leverage in your life, because SMILE stands for seeing miracles in life every day. Seeing miracles in life every day. Now, I got to tell you, I do a lot of in-person speaking and on the webinars and things like that. Recently, I did a gig where I had 1,172 people in the audience, and had a lot of people raising their hands and say, hey, Barry Shore, I've been up for hours where I haven't seen any miracles. And I asked them, are you here? Can you hear? Can you stand still? I can't do that. Can you walk? I can barely do that. Do you have water, drink, you have food, you have a place to sleep, you have family, you have friends? Every single one of those is a miracle. And what's the proof? Simple as proof. 1 million people didn't get out of bed this morning. You know why? They died. By definition, you're watching this, you're listening to it, you didn't. Therefore, you have an obligation to live life to the full, to live exuberantly. Let me tell you a quick story. This is a story about me. Imagine, if you can, standing up in the morning, completely healthy and hearty, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound, and that evening being in the hospital, totally, completely paralyzed. Not from an automobile accident, not a spinal injury, a rare disease which I never heard of the day before, took over my body and rendered me what's called a quadriplegic. Nothing in my body moved from my neck down. Completely, totally paralyzed. I could only communicate by blinking my eyes. I was 144 days in the hospital. I was 2 years in a hospital bed in my own home. I couldn't turn over by myself. I was 4 years in a wheelchair. I had braces on both my legs, from my hips to my ankles, and that was progress. Thank God today I'm able to be vertical and ambulatory with the help of a 7-foot walking wand made for me by a Zen master. And I still can't walk up a stair by myself. I can't walk up a curb by myself. And I've helped 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. But you hear my voice. Positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant, all because of this one word. Smile. Seeing miracles in life every day. I got to tell you a quick story. My 8-year-old niece comes over to me a few weeks ago and she says, Uncle Barry, can we spell smile S-M-I-E-L? I thought about it. Smile sounds the same. Why not? I asked her how come. She says, because then it would stand for seeing miracles in everyday life. Out of the mouth of an 8-year-old. But what was she doing? She was creating the kind of world that she wants to live in. Now, create stands for causing rethinking, enabling all to excel. And we're going to be discussing with our amazing, wonderful, upbeat, uplifting guest, Tessa, about rethinking, because rethinking is all about what we call shift in perspective. Now, my latest book is called Oh Shift. And what we did on the cover is we use Scrabble tiles. So the OH and then SHI and the F a little below the line and then the T. Because in 40 plus years of working with people, 97.2% of all people I ever worked with, they drop the F in shift and the other stuff happens. You got to keep your F's in place. So you want to create just a small shift in perspective. And what's going to happen? You'll be able to internalize, utilize, and leverage the 6 most important words you'll ever know. And they are choice, not chance, determines your destiny. Choice, not chance, determines your destiny. How you choose to respond any given situation will not only help you have a path, but your trajectory in life. Now, before we bring on Tessa, who is a model of propriety and a wonderful being, I have to warn her and everybody listening in advance that I do use a lot of 4-letter words, and I even use the 4-letter FU word a lot because it's fun and the shock value. Now, of course, the 4-letter words that we use, because we live in the world of the positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant, are love, life, hope, free, gift, play, pray, swim. And the 4-letter FU word is fun. Fun, yes. F-U, capital N, capital N. Now, right away, some people raise their hand and say, hey, Barry Shore, fun's only spelled with 3 letters. Not in our world. The world of the positive, purposeful, powerful, pleasant, fun is spelled F-U, capital N, capital N. So after the show, when you see your family and friends, I want you to point your finger, have a twinkle in your eye, a smile on your face, remember this stands for, and tell everybody, F-U. Remember to add right away, capital N, capital N. So where'd you get that? I listened to Barry Shore on the Joy of Living podcast. He wants to teach the world to F you. Capital N, capital N. It allows you to have conversation. People say, what is that all about? Now, before we bring on amazing Tessa, I'm going to urge everybody, for your benefit, you'll be happier, healthier, and wealthy to do this, to use the 2 most powerful words in the English language 3 times a day, consciously and conscientiously for now and the rest of your life. And these 2 words are thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank stands for to harmonize and nurture kindness. To harmonize and nurture kindness. Imagine you walk into your coffee shop, you order a fancy latte, you sit down, somebody brings it to you. Thank you. You walk to the coffee shop, you order a fancy latte, a couple of minutes go by, nobody brings you, go to the counter and say, I'm sorry, we forgot, we'll bring it to you. Sit down, a couple of minutes go by, you still say, thank you. You're walking out of the coffee shop and it's raining out. Somebody holds the door open for you. You say, thank you. You're walking out of the coffee shop. It's raining and somebody slams the door on you. You say, thank you. You're in traffic, late for an appointment. Somebody cuts you off. You say, thank you. You get up in the middle of the night and you stub your toe and it hurts. You say, that's right, thank you. To harmonize and nurture kindness. Kind is an amazing word, acronym standing for keep inspiring noble deeds. I can't think of anybody that I'd like to share with you right now that inspires noble deeds that other than wonderful Tessa Arnold. Tessa, please.
Hi, everyone. Woo! So happy.
368,000 people around the world.
Hi, everybody. I am so incredibly excited to be here. Barry, that was just so inspiring. Everything that you said, I want to bottle it up. I want to listen to it all the time. I am pumped up. So thank you so much for having me.
Well, there she goes. Thank you. Tessa, when was the last time somebody said F you to you and you
I love
laughed?
it. I'm about to go run outside and yell it to everybody. I mean, everybody I see. And just the shock value alone and the fun. I mean, that's my middle name. I have 2 small children. and my life is meant to be lived and meant to be, in seeking of experience and fun. And I couldn't agree with you more. I think this year's been a total example of that. I think I've done more this year than I have in the last 6. So
Wow. Tessa Fun Arnold.
yes,
By the way, everything you want to know about Tessa, and there's a lot you want to know, and the things that she does, it's all wonderful. Just go to my website, barryshore.com, BARRYSHORE. Everything about Tessa, all the things that she's doing, her snapback energy, just her whole being is going to be there, and you can access it. You can talk to her. And so just go to my website, barryshore.com. Don't take notes. Just listen. Use your 2 ears and just feel the tsunami of goodness going around you, through you, and around you. Now, if I start telling you all the fabulous things that Tessa's been doing in her life up to now, and you see she's young and beautiful and vibrant, you say, well, I mean, that can't be possible as a young woman, but it is. We'll take up the rest of the show. I'm going to just give you 3 data points. One data point is that she was in the world of banking for 12 years. Banking, well, that's very interesting. That seems very staid and buttoned up and such like that. Okay, maybe, but she's going to give us an interesting perspective. And then she had a meeting with herself, and she decided to move out of that into the world of healing and medicine through what is known, I guess, because it's from the East, mostly from India, and the Ayurveda health wellness continuum, and that's where she is today. In addition to that, she is a widower who has 2 small children and is about, thank God, she has a boyfriend, hopefully get married again soon. So she's been through what we call stuff, like I've been through stuff. When you go through stuff, you gain perspective. And that's really why I'm so happy that Tessa is with us today. And her whole world is what she calls the Snapback energy fascinating program. That's her whole life. And she helps gain people's awareness that you can do that. You can snap back. You have the energy, you have the ability, and she's going to show us how. So let's just jump right in. Wonderful, Tessa, and talk about, as I said, everything you want to know about her is on my website, barryshore.com. So just listen. Let's discuss something that I find fascinating, having talked with you already a couple of times. And we're talking about life. Duh! Now, life is a wonderful acronym that stands for living inspirationally for eternity. So when we talk about life, and I'm talking to you, I think of fulfillment, I think of balance, and I think of the ability to unify these seemingly disparate and contradictory aspects of life into something that is going to be of benefit, not just to yourself, but family, friends, and the whole world. So let's just jump right in a big question. Tessa, what do you do with life and snapback energy?
Yes. Oh, so I will go ahead and unpack all the stuff, as you said. With Snapback Energy, it's a story in itself how it came to fruition. It was my late ex-husband's dream and desire to start a company, and I supported him through that, and then really got involved when I was in banking and decided that I was going to start putting my hat in the ring and start to develop a product, which then in turn turned to Snapback Energy. Snapback Energy then became for me a call to action to really balance life, and that it was that we need help, right? Life is hard and life is extreme and life is beautiful and life is all the things. And what we needed, really primarily was some balance within it. So how could I help support myself first and then embody that balance? And then it was too good not to get out to others. And that's sort of been propelling me on this journey that I'm finding a wisdom that I've always had within me of knowing and rediscovering myself again and becoming the fullest expression of myself. And as I do that, I find that I need to share this, right? It's too good not to share. It makes too much sense not to share. I want to go spread this and pour this all over everybody. So that's sort of how Snapback Energy started. And it's become so much more than a supplement, right? It's an awareness of how you're living your life, on tuning into that mind, body, and soul connection and how you're showing up. So it's really calling out if something's not feeling good within your body, right? Let's not treat a symptom. Let's really get in there and find out what's going on and actually treat what's going on from a root cause. A lot of that could be through energetics. A lot of that could be through energy and motion, just what's going on there. Or it could be something more that we need to look into, which then propelled me on my Ayurvedic journey and all the things. So
let's unpack for people. Now, I'm happy to say that we have a global audience, mostly under the age of 35, like you. And we have a fairly large contingent from Southeast Asia, mostly from India, Pakistan, and so. So this idea of what you call and what is known in the world is Ayurveda, Ayurveda. Now, the Veda part, Veda, anybody who is literate knows that the Vedas are a group of aphorisms, ideas, et cetera, collected. And what is the other part, the Ayur, and how did you become touched by it? Did you stumble upon it as you're walking down the street and trip and fall? Did someone give you a book like the autobiography of a yogi by Paramahansa Yogananda? Or did something happen for you that triggered the ability for you to recognize and say, aha, life?
Yeah, well, that was a journey in itself. I think there's been small moments of beautiful defeat and breakdown that have propelled me to a shift. That,
Ooh,
we're going to
shift. Isn't that cool? You like that?
I love that. I had an opportunity to become a victim or a character in the past, or I had an opportunity to stand up and dust myself off and say, this doesn't feel good, right? This is, I'm meant for something more. There's something more to this whole thing called life. And I'm not getting the full experience here. So I need to do something differently. And that was a learning, and that was small steps. But to get into the Ayurvedic and the Vedas, the body of knowledge, 5,000-year-old body of knowledge, which I'm sure many are familiar with, right? Beyond, what we have today from modern science, this came much before that. It's the science of life. So when you break down the word in itself, it's the science of life. It's the science of, and I translate that to the beautiful science of being human, right? It's messy. We can unpack all this stuff. It is beautiful. It is sad. It's difficult. It's evolving. We are constantly meant to evolve with your story in itself, right? Everything that you've had to deal with and the evolution of who is Barry right here sitting in front of us. What a beautiful gift. We wouldn't be able to get to this place if we didn't have all that stuff that we needed to unpack along the way. And I view all of the hardships, which we are all connected through, right? That's what connects us as a civilization. It's not all the triumphs, it's the hardships that we come together and we hold each other and we pour that love over each other. So that's what I started to find. It's interesting through this journey and this progression, I started to lean in. Afraid.
Oh, very good. This is important. I want to mention two things that you did, and specifically for our audience. As I said, most everybody listening is under the age of 35, and a very large contingent are actually under the age of 22. Interesting enough, I get lots of comments and emails from people who say, I love this, because they're not used to this level of energy. And that's why I'm so happy that you're here. I want to share with the audience but with you particularly, because I think you're going to like this. If you like shift, which I know you do, the word joy is an amazing acronym. The word joy, because you've mentioned it already twice, stands for journey of you.
Yes.
That's the ultimate joy, right? The journey of you as that lotus flower blossom that's opening up and continuing evolving and such. And you mentioned about the ability, the need to share. You see, because it's true, when light is part and parcel of you, not so much comes into you. When it's part and by definition, it needs to be shared. You are a lighthouse. You're not just encapsulating it, you're beaming it. You must. That's the nature of light. It must go out. And SHARE is a wonderful acronym that stands for spreading happiness and rejuvenating energy. Yes. Now, that's what you do. So let's go deeper into you now transitioned from banking, which, by the way, tell us what you found in banking. Was it buttoned up and limiting, or was it a way that you actually it helped you get into the science of life?
It's such a good question. I was a different person. So I was a different version of me then, which I feel like we're constantly, again, like I said, evolving and changing. And I hope that never stops. Banking was very conservative. It was structured. It was safe. I knew what to expect. I had my network. I was plugging along, but as Deepak Chopra says so beautifully, I was sleepwalking through life. I wasn't awake. I was doing the things, and the things were fine, but the things didn't light my soul on fire. And I didn't even know that was something that happened. I couldn't have told you. I had my children, I had my marriage, I had my career. I was doing everything from the outside, like perfectly pristine. And on the inside, I didn't realize that I was losing myself slowly. I was becoming more encapsulated in a body versus being an essence that's going to glow from the inside out, right? That full embodiment of life. And to have this conversation, to say these words, myself 4 or 5 years ago, 3 years ago, wouldn't have understood what that meant. So I was sitting there.
I just want to pause for a moment. So you're saying that was alien to where you were. You would not have understood these same words that are now coming from you. They would not have spoken to the Tessa of, let's say, 5 years ago.
Absolutely not.
Oh, that is so fascinating. Okay, now we have sponsors that love our show, and we love our sponsors. We wouldn't even be urging you to consider using them if we didn't vet them first. So please pay attention to a couple of minutes. We'll be right back with Tessa, and she's going to go from structured and safe to flying and bringing you snapback energy. We'll be right back after this brief message. Don't go away. There's more Tessa on the other side. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Hey, everybody. You know me, Barry Shore, and you know my story. Standing up in the morning, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. That night, being in the hospital, totally, completely paralyzed. Talk about a change of life. I was faced with lots of issues, difficulties, paths forward, if there was to be one. And I'm here to tell you that finding advice from professional people makes all the difference, certainly in my life. And I would urge everybody to consider doing so in your life. And if you've ever had the opportunity to find someone or some two people that are really matched up with you, then you know it makes a difference. I urge you to consider using BetterHelp. BetterHelp, if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, so it's designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill in a brief questionnaire, I've done it, to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. This is your opportunity to make a difference and become the best you possible. Let therapy be your map with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/joy of living today and get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/joy of living. BetterHelp, HELP.com/joy of living. Best wishes. Bye now. Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved immortal beings, and good-looking people. Maybe you're good-looking. You're always looking for and finding the good. Our cup runneth over with good. Tessa Fun Arnold, who is moving from the place of, I'm picturing this, in a wonderful tailored suit for a woman with her briefcase. I don't know if you took the train someplace or something, I'm just making it up, and reading her Wall Street Journal and thinking about the clients, and she's going to interact and making her deals and looking at her spreadsheets and really feeling that this is great. It's structured. It's safe. I'm learning. I'm going to grow. I might be a vice president. Something. They're going to listen to me in the boardroom. And then something happened.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, that's the perfect picture. That's exactly what it was, Barry. In all things, I was like, this is normal. And then life started to happen. So in my personal life, things started to get to shift. Things started to get difficult. There was health issues. There was relationship problems. I have 2 small children. And I started to encapsulate all the stress within my body. So I was holding all of that in, feeling incredibly uncomfortable. And I would say to all of the listeners right now, I mean, it can show up in any different way. So if you're starting to look at yourself in the mirror and you're not seeing yourself anymore, or if you're starting to feel a certain bit of lack or monotony or emptiness, I'd say, take a look at what's fulfilling in your life. What practices do you have? What lights you up? What sets you on fire? And that I didn't start looking, then I'll tell you, the anxiety started to build because I didn't have outlets for it. I didn't know what was going on in my body. I couldn't even tell you what anxiety was and where it was. I was carrying it, new stress in your shoulders, old stress in your hips. It's like, who knew any of that? You didn't tune into your body like that. Because I was taking care of the people around me and I was throwing myself in the back.
So this is a wonderful acronym also, I think, because you mentioned about taking action. And by the way, the definition of a winner, which is Tessa Arnold, definition of winner is one word: action.
Yes.
Well, without this prerequisite, you cannot take action. And that is, if you want to fly, which is what you're talking about right now, you want to fly. Fly stands for first love yourself.
Yes.
You were taking care of all the people in your orbits, everything from your wonderful kids and your husband and this and the people at the office and the clients and blah, 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 except the core, the nucleus, was shriveling. It wasn't working. It wasn't in fun mode. How do you have fun in life? Because isn't that an important, I'm told, F you, Tessa, capital N, capital N. How does one incorporate fun into life and still be a banker, a mother, a wife, a friend, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera?
It was so true, because I wish you had said that to me back then, because you live for the weekends or you live for the vacation time, that small little chunk of time you're waiting around living for those moments. No, I was done with that. I wasn't going to wait around anymore. And then I was physically sick and my world starts to implode around me. And I had it was a complete breakdown of all the structures that were working. And from a banker's perspective and that type of personality, I was like, I'm losing control here. And the more I tried to grip on with both hands to what I thought should be normal, should be happening, the worse it got, to the point where I finally let go. I said, that's it. And I leaned into making a huge shift, scared. I did it scared, but I did it. And you have to, you do it scared. You do the things scared. You lean in. And I can honestly say, and I have said this almost every other moment from that point on, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm too uncomfortable not to make a change. And this is the one experience I have with life as this version of me. I'm going to do something. So I did.
And again, I'm saying to you, wonderful Tessa, and I'm applauding you. And so thousands and thousands of people around the world are cheering right now because they're cheering for themselves. You see, the point of the podcast of the joy of living, it's not about Tessa, great woman as she is, not about Barry Shore, fabulous guy. It's about you, YOU, and the ability for you to find this, what I call the T word, this transformational process that you can hear from other people. That's you. You can lean in and recognize, I don't know. And guess what? That is liberating, isn't it?
So incredibly liberating. It is the most liberating feeling to give it over to something. Give it over to your faith, give it over to your hope, give it over to anything but yourself, for holding on gripping so tight to life with both hands. It's not the intention. The intention is meant to experience this life, to put action into your dreams, to put the action behind your intentions, to do, I say 2 things. I want to leave the world a better place than I found it, and I want to leave the people that I meet better than I found them. And if I can just move through my days with that intention, that's it. That's all I'm going to do. I'm going to vibrate like that. Sometimes my vibration and energy moves in different vibrations, can get lower and higher. But I know if I'm cleaning house and clearing mine, that's what's going to come into my orbit. But this was all part of the process. And it took one moment where I was sitting in my room and I said, I give up. I'm making a change. I'm doing it. And I did it.
Do you remember the day?
Oh gosh, I do. I do. And now it was a culmination of many days of and we can unpack, crying in the bathroom or hide because I had small children, or being in the closet, or being in the car and just being like, I can't do this for another day, or waking up in the morning, you pause that moment, you get on the train, you start walking, you get in the car and you take a deep breath and you're like, here we go again. No, don't go again. Don't, we need to talk, right? Let's not go again. Let's figure out what's going on, because there's not going to be the right time. There's the time that you make it. So you make an excuse or you make a decision, and let's figure out what that decision needs to be, and let's go have fun.
I have 3 books that I'm happy to say I published this year, and all of them doing very well because they make a difference in people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
As I say, it's not about information. There's plenty of it out there. It's information overload on the internet, right? And it's not about inspiration. Wow, this is great. I love it. And then, of course, you know what happens the next day. And okay, it's about the T word, transformation. And in the book, the first book I published this year, which is called The Joy of Living, You Deserve It. It's about 11 strategies for learning how to live, enjoy daily, no matter the circumstances. The reason I mention it is because one of the strategies is the following: get uncomfortable.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Comfort zone is where dreams go to die. Or as you mentioned, that's structured and safe. Or as Deepak says, I've heard him say it to me, Barry, his accent. People sleepwalk through life. He didn't say me, because thank God I woke up. But people sleepwalk, and we don't want to. Now, everybody knows you don't want to, but we don't. You see, recognizing recognition is plugging back into oneself. So now let's go. And where did you discover the Ayurveda process that really enabled you to not only say enough, and I'm moving into another direction. I'm going to get uncomfortable. I may have to read things I never heard of before. I may have to learn things I never heard of before, different words, meet different people. I mean, let's be blunt. That is easy, and it's not. But it's the genius of life when you're uncomfortable. And people ask me, what do you mean uncomfortable? I said, it's not about putting a pebble in your shoe and walking around uncomfortable all day. It's about learning how to brush your teeth with your non-dominant hand.
Yes.
In other words, when you do that, you have to think, oh my gosh, otherwise you can't do it. So it's the shift, tiny shift. Keep that F in place, or else the other stuff happens. So how did you find, or how did Ayurveda wellness find you?
So I continue on the path, and I take a step outside of banking, and I'm working with Snapback Energy, and I'm continuing along, and I'm deciding, more things are happening. And so as life gets in the way of life, and you being that fullest expression of you, and I'm like, all right, I'm lifing right now, and it's really hard. And I said, okay, I need to get uncomfortable again. I'm getting too comfortable, and it doesn't feel good. There's more to this. I don't know what it is. I don't know what I need. I said, I've got to go do something I've never done before. And I went on a retreat. I went to one of Deepak Chopra's retreats. I had not read his books. I had not, met him. I hadn't been following him. I said, we're going to go on this. I can be away from the kids from this long. This feels scary enough that I'm not terrified. I can go out of the country by myself. I don't know another soul going. And that was purposeful. I had friends who were like, I'll go. And I said, no, I need to go alone. I'm going alone. I came into this world alone. I'm going to leave alone. I have everything that I need within myself. And I think that's so important for everybody to hear right now. Please know you have everything that you need within yourself. We can tap into that. And it's in the moments of loneliness and stillness and clarity that we can really get into that. And so I said, I can do this. And before my ego fear could come in, or before the doubt could set in, I bought the ticket. I did the thing, Barry. I went to Mexico. I was introduced to Deepak. We listened. He gave the beautiful speech. He's giving his webinars. I have the stuff. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about, but I am here. I love this energy. I was like, I don't even know. I had read The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer a while ago. When I came back, I picked that book up again, and I said, this makes a lot more sense right now. and I reread it. And then I had been reading Deepak's books and many others, many others. And it just, like I said, it made too much sense to me. I said, well, this just makes a whole lot. It was like a puzzle piece coming together. And there was a beautiful thing that I read, that knowledge is learned, wisdom is innate and in all of us, and it's what we just know. We're not learning anything, we're rediscovering. And the wisdom that came up was like a fountain just overflowing. And I was like, yep, that's right. That's what it is. And that's true. And then I started to do a little bit more of what felt good. And then I was introduced at this retreat to the Ayurvedic process and the food and the techniques and the living style. And it felt too good. And I leaned in. I did not sign up for my instruction then. I actually didn't until a month later, after I leaned in and went to get my yoga teacher 200-hour certification, because the movement of my body and the movement of the energy felt so incredibly good. And then I tapped into the Yoga Sutras with Patanjali, and it was, so I'm like, yes, again. It was a lot. As Matthew McConaughey says, it was green light, green light, green light. And I was like, when you get into flow like this and you get uncomfortable, and it's a daily practice, right? You start to move in a way that things are coming into your world that you can't imagine and you wouldn't have imagined, but they just feel too good for you to turn away. And that's when you need to take that immediate right action and say yes. You can say no in your mind 10 minutes later, but you already said yes. So we're doing the thing, and we're going to lean in and we're going to do it. And we might do it afraid, but that's what propelled me. And it sat with me, and the idea of the Ayurvedic health practice and the lifestyle coaching and the yoga teaching and I know the story's been told before, because it's how we human, and it's a great way to human. And the Ayurvedic practice is so much more than that, right? It's the breathing. It's how we breathe every day. It's how we eat. It's how we sleep. It's our emotional well-being. And it has such beautiful synergies between the Snapback energy that it was sort of my life, which had imploded from the inside out, beautifully fell all around me and made a lot more sense. And I was like, well, I'm going to keep doing the thing. So here we are.
And it is attracting the people, the energy, the situations that you want.
Yes.
I'll share with you. You use this wonderful word that somebody offers to go with you, say, no, I want to go alone. So I'm going to give you a little shift in the word alone, because most 99.99% of people on the planet mispronounce it. Actually, I shared this with Deepak 25 years ago. If you pronounce it the right way, it will all make more sense. You ready? Don't say the word alone. Pronounce it all one.
Oh, I love that.
Because that's what you are. What you tapped in. Well, you said it to me. That's why I'm sharing with you back.
I'm whole.
You wanted to go, because it's all one, the wisdom that's coming in. And so this is what you are talking about. The flow is because it's a law of the universe. Now, when people hear the word law, wonderful Tessa, they tend to think of, the police car with the spinning thing and shrinking. That's how people think of law, shrinking. Or they think of banking that way, like this. Whereas really, law is a great acronym that stands for love and wisdom. That's the law of attraction. That's what you're living in now. You are living now in love and wisdom. And by definition, it must attract to you and you to give back to it that which you want, which is that snap back energy. And I'd be willing to wager a lot of money that you are positively, purposely, powerfully, pleasantly impacting dozens, if not hundreds of people in your life. Am I correct on that?
I would like to think so.
Yeah, I think so. I know it's true, because you have clients, you have friends, you have people watching, etc.
And that's the rewards, right? It's the gifts. It's the intention and the purpose for the why you do it. The right decision is going to be not just for the higher good of you, but it's the higher good of many. Right. So that's always going to be the immediate right decision. Right. And that's a law as well. So it's that immediate right action. And it is. And I think the law of I like to think about it as a symbiotic nature, as we are connected to everything around us and we're vibrations, we're magnetic. We're beautiful magnetic energy beings. And we start to vibrate higher doing the things that we love, loving ourselves while we're doing it, and also loving ourselves through the thoughts that we have, right? You can have an intention and you can have an action, but if your thoughts aren't at that same vibration, you're not thinking beautiful things about yourself, it's never going to match up. So get those thoughts up there, build yourself up, and then trust me, watch things come into place like magic. And then call me and tell me about it. Call Barry and tell him all about it.
It's not even like magic. You, Tessa, are magic.
Yes,
It's
we
not
are.
like magic. It is magic. You are magic.
It
So, as I said, I am blessed to be able to speak to large groups every once in a while, and I do my webinars and seminars and interviews and such. And I mentioned about the how should we say it? The ability for people to tap in to this energy, what I call becoming your own spiritual chiropractor. So I'll give you an example. You mentioned if you're out of sorts physically, you go to a chiropractor. What do? He or she goes, and now you're aligned. You're feeling better, right? You carry yourself a little lighter and such. Well, the same thing you just mentioned, become your own spiritual chiropractor. When your thoughts are in good, and your words are in good, and your deeds are in good, you're now spiritually aligned, and everything flows. It has to. It's a law. It can't do anything other than that. And that's how I think what you're with Snapback Energy. Again, just go to my website, barryshore.com, BARRYSHORE.com. Everything about Tessa and what she's doing is there, and you want to access it. It's so fabulous. It's beneficial. Remember, this show is all about you. YOU, you becoming the best you possible. Not me, not her. It's about you. Now, we're going to do a quick break. We love our sponsors. They love us, and we urge you to consider using them because we wouldn't have them otherwise. We'll be right back after this brief message. Don't go away. More Tessa coming right back to you. Good day, everybody. Oh, something special for you. Amazing. Sometimes a great notion comes into the world and causes a shift that benefits everyone. Isn't that wonderful? Everyone benefits. This time it's called Einstein Cares. That's right, like Albert Einstein. EinsteinCares.com. EINSTEINCARES. EinsteinCares.com. Go there and sign up to be aware of when the site launches. Because guess what this site is all about? Its mission is to give $1 billion to charity without costing any giver a penny. Okay, I'm going to say it again. The mission is to give $1 billion to charity without costing any giver a penny. And it's based upon something everybody loves to do. Shop, have fun, give money at no cost. Go to EinsteinCares.com. That's EinsteinCares.com and register now so that when the site launches, you will be amongst the first to know about it. So you can shop, earn money, and give money at no cost. What a wonderful world to even be thinking about these things. EinsteinCares.com. Do it today. You'll thank me, and you know you love thanking me. Best wishes. Bye now. Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved immortal beings, and good-looking people. Maybe you're good-looking, so always looking for and finding the good. Is this not something amazing? It's Tessa Arnold giving you snapback energy, putting more fun in your life, F you, everybody, and causing that wonderful shift. Keep that F in place and allowing you to be in flow. So let's just discuss in our few minutes that are remaining, wonderful Tessa, how did you find peace every day? Let me tell you what peace stands for, by the way. You might like this. This is one of my acronyms. Peace stands for purposely effecting all, creating exuberance. So how does Tessa find peace every day?
Beautiful. I think you really started to talk about this, Barry, with that mind, body, soul connection, When you start to work in alignment and you start, please, everyone, we got to go inside. We got to start from the inside out. We've got to tap. All I ask is that you tap in for a moment and say, how do I feel? What's going on in there? Be still for a moment. I'm not saying we all have to start a meditation practice right away. I know that can be a scary word. There's definitely, that can look different from everybody. It can be an active, it could be a quiet, but sit with yourself for a moment. Really think about your thoughts, think about your actions, think about how life is feeling right now, and start to tune into that. And when you start to tune into that, then you can start to determine how things are going and where you might need to take some action or determine how that's going to look. And then when you start to sit with yourself, you start to determine maybe how are my thoughts not aligning to how I want to vibrate, right? How am I thinking? How am I talking to myself? How am I caring for myself? So first and foremost, it's going to start with the self-care. Secondly, I challenge you to be that one, be the one for yourself. What would it take for you to feel whole, right? What would it take for you to be able to sit with yourself in stillness and feel really content with how that feels, to the point where you start to crave it? I can tell you without a doubt in my mind, Barry, those moments people be like, oh, what are you doing later? Oh, I'm like, no, sorry, I'm busy, because I have an hour to myself to go sit outside with nothing but the beautiful world around me. Peace is not something that you seek outside. There is no object referral when it comes to peace. Peace is always and indefinitely going to be sick. You go inside, it's self-referral. It's always going to be, and it's part of that well that bubbles up and spills over. And then when it starts to creep in, when you start to look in, when you start to check in, when you start to incorporate that fun, that fulfillment, that self-love, you're going to feel it start to bubble up, and you will find those moments of peace everywhere. And when I say everywhere, it will be at the grocery store, it will be at the light, it will be walking the dogs out, taking the trash out, cooking dinner. You know, your child, you just held them because they were crying and had a rough day, and you'll be like, thank you for this. Thank you for this opportunity to have these children, to do this thing. I walk out, like you said, such a beautiful expression. Start with gratitude. Start in the morning when you wake up, and don't forget yourself. Say thank you for waking up. Say thank you for the breath that you take, that long, deep breath filling your body. And say thank you for you. The fact that you're going to get up and get into this world and spread your magic all over the place, or be courageous and make a change today, or be courageous and set a boundary and go do something for yourself. Or maybe use the word NO, which is not a bad word. No, that doesn't serve me today. I'm going to go do something else that feels really good. But thank you. You know, do it. Do the thing. So lead with gratitude.
I love this. Self-care,
Yeah.
be the one until you get to the point where you crave it. I love it. So it's so fun that you talked about what I call the N word. I like using the N word. N-O. Now,
That's a
what
cool
we
thing.
do in our world is, and I think you might like this, you're going to, because you have too small. How old are your kids?
10 and almost 9.
10 and almost 9. Yeah. So they're just, they're sort of just past that unique magical place of 6 to 9, but okay, but let's work with them. And I think you know this intuitively, and because I study this, and it's in several of my books, that by the time a child is 4 years old, they heard the word NO more than 14,000 times. Now, that's a lot of NOs in a short period of time. So what we've done is, when I work with people, and I do this either one-on-one with very high achieving people, or I do it in groups, and people light up, they say, this is amazing. Take the word NO. I want you to surround it by 2 letters, a K in the beginning and a W at the end, so that every time the word no comes out from you or to someone to you, you are surrounding it with a K and a W, which now stands the same pronunciation, right? Except that the K stands for kindness and the W stands for wisdom. Mm-hmm. So what you did is you surrounded that NO with kindness and wisdom every single time.
And it's a gift. It's a gift to the people you say it to. You're teaching
right.
that it's okay to use those words in a world where a lot of early trauma, right? Being born is traumatic. So we've all dealt with some sort of
Oh,
trauma.
I didn't know that. Yes.
Right. So in the world of that, that can then translate to what some people would label as people pleasers, right? And there's a difference. And when you give the gift of showing somebody else your beautiful knowledge and wisdom to say, no, this doesn't serve me today. And that in itself is a full sentence. You don't have to explain. They're like, oh, I'm allowed to say that too when something doesn't serve. And that's reciprocal. It's beautiful. And I love hearing people express their boundaries to me and sharing those with me, because it just lifts me up to say, yes, that is beautiful. In the Yoga Sutras, there's a beautiful gift that it's, selflessness. So we really do try and practice the selflessness. And when we do acquire and reach in and find and tap into that inner peace that we all have, I promise you, we can all get it. It's all right to be selfish with that. Because when you're selfish with that, you're spreading that peace to the people around you. What do they say? The heart has an electromagnetic field that extends out 6 feet. Now, you have that peace, I dare to say, and I'm not a scientist, I will say that, but that field of peace that extends out, it goes far beyond your home. You tap into a meta love meditation, and the way that you spread that out, that vibration out into the world, it's infinite. And it finds people that you don't even know that it finds. It's the person you smile at when you walk at your door because you just feel good. It's you looking at your child when you really are aware and they have your full attention. They're like, I'm seen right now. It's your spouse or your partner, your significant other, when you're talking to them and they can just feel that peace from you when they've had a really rough day, and it's calming and it's easy and it's beautiful. It's a gift.
It is, and you are, and we appreciate you so much. I urge everybody, remember, this show is not about Tessa, and she is wonderful. It's not about Barry Shore, great guy that he is. It's about you. It's you finding and feeling these vibrations that are being put out there. This is not just a podcast. This is a vibrational process. As she says, this field of peace. And wonderful Tessa, I share this with you lovingly. Love is a great acronym that stands for living on vibrant energy. Living on the vibrational plane. Isn't that beautiful?
I mean, who doesn't want to be there? Come join us. It's where we are. And it takes practice. I just want everybody to know it's
Yes.
practice. Practice. Let's try and be human and practice to the best of our ability every day. It's a gift too.
The point is that she just said, you get the time to if you're alive, you have the time to practice. Why not do this? Why not this? If you have a choice between making $1 million and losing $1 million, which would you choose? Well, that's the same here, except it's even more. It's exponential. I crave it because it's good for me. It's good for the people I love. It's good for the people around me. It's good for the whole world. It's what we call creating a tsunami of goodness. Wonderful Tessa, I'm almost loath to say these words, but we're coming to a close of our time together this session. So I have 3 questions for you. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, number 1, will you come back again?
Yes, I'd love to.
Oh, very good. Number 2, and you only have 80 seconds to answer this, wonderful Tessa. What is your most fervent desire?
Oh, goodness.
You have 80 seconds.
Travel around the world. I want to see and do it all. I want to travel. I want to eat all the food. I want to do the things. I want to see everything.
She wants to see everything, eat everything, and be all one.
All one with everybody. Just do it.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. And number 3 is, may I give you a hug in front of 376,819 people around the world? Let me tell you what hug stands for. You ready? Heartfelt, unlimited giving. Heartfelt, unlimited giving. A count of 3. 1, 2, 3. the Joy of Living podcast with your humble host, Barry Shore. And you have been with us today with wonderful, amazing Tessa Arnold. And remember that this show is all about you. You tuned in because you care the most in the entire world about you, which is great. Because when you're the best you make the world a better place. You just heard it from Tessa. You make the world a better place. You build more bridges of harmony. You create more joy, happiness, peace, and love in the world. Because here you learn and we discuss the three fundamentals of life. Number one, life. Your life has purpose. When you lead a purpose-driven life, you go MAD. MAD is a fabulous acronym. It stands for make a difference. You lead a purpose-driven life, you make a difference in the world. And the third is to unlock the power and the sequence of everyday words and so like WWW. What a wonderful world. What a wonderful world. Smile, seeing miracles in life every day, or as my 8-year-old niece says, seeing miracles in everyday life. Create the kind of world that you want to live in. Tessa just showed us how to do it. She did it, causing rethinking, enabling all to excel. That rethinking will enable you to shift. Keep that F in place. Shift your perspective. It's just a small piece. It's a small shift. And then you can internalize, utilize, and leverage the 6 most important words in your life. Choice, not chance, determines your destiny. How you choose to respond in any given situation. She just told us all about what she did and how she made that shift. And then, of course, you can utilize and learn using 4-letter words. I mean, look, we live in the world of positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant. So our 4-letter words are love, life, hope, free, gift, play, pray, swim, and tell the world to F you. Capital N, capital N. So after the show, you see family and friends, point your finger, twinkle in the eye, smile in your face, and say, F you, everybody. Capital N, capital N. Say, what are you talking? What you got? I listened to Barry Shore, the joy of living. He has on this amazing woman. Her name is Tessa, and it'll allow you to speak to people because you opened up, you got their attention, you enabled them to lean in. And again, use the 2 most powerful words in the English language 3 times a day from now and the rest of your life. And these 2 words are thank you. Thank you. Thank you. To harmonize and nurture kindness. Everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. Therefore, be kind always. Keep inspiring noble deeds. And a prayer and a blessing from Tessa and Barry. Go forth. Live exuberantly. Spread the seeds of joy, happiness, peace, and love. Go mad. Go make a difference. Tessa, don't go away.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Joy of Living podcast. Now that's another step towards your healthier, happier, and wealthier life. Never hesitate to do good in the world, no matter what the situation. Join us for another upbeat discussion next time at barryshore.com. And be sure to leave a rating and subscribe to the show to get more conversations like this. And remember to share it with your family and friends too. See you on the next episode.